Welcome everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with our first slide, how to identify and avoid common traps. Today, we'll focus on a very important topic, religion and power manipulation. We'll explore how these forces can influence us and how to recognize the signs. In the next few slides, I'll guide you through practical tips to stay aware and protect yourself. Let's get started. In this slide, we're focusing on how certain narratives frame conflicts as a holy war, where the enemy is seen purely as evil. The key point here is that labeling a conflict this way simplifies the complex realities on the ground, casting everything in moral absolutes. When we talk about the holy war narrative, it's important to recognize how it can rally support by presenting the fight as a righteous cause. But at the same time, we need to be cautious. This narrative often avoids questioning motives or looking at multiple sources of information. It tends to reinforce a black and white view, which can be dangerous because it leaves little room for nuance or understanding of the deeper issues involved. One common trap here is justifying war based on this kind of narrative. It's tempting to accept the framing without scrutinizing it, but that can lead us down a path where we overlook the complexities and the human costs involved. So, in the broader context of our presentation, understanding how these narratives are constructed helps us see beyond the surface and question the stories that are being told to justify action. Let's take a closer look at some common tactics used to influence us. First, there's the idea of don't question. This is where messages are designed to discourage us from thinking critically or challenging what we're told. It's a way to keep us compliant without us realizing it. Then, there's fear-based messaging. This approach plays on our emotions, often exaggerating risks or dangers to push us toward a particular viewpoint or action. On the other hand, we should be cautious about avoiding critical thinking and authentic learning sources. When we rely on unverified or biased information, we risk being misled. And a significant trap here is the effort to control the population. This strategy aims to manipulate how many people think or behave, often by limiting access to real, trustworthy information. Overall, understanding these tactics helps us stay aware and resilient against manipulation, reinforcing the importance of questioning and seeking credible sources in our pursuit of truth. Now, let's talk about what leaders often do when they use religion publicly. They may invoke religious themes or symbols to support their messages, but it's really important to focus on their actions rather than just their image or how they appear to the public. We want to avoid judging them based solely on their outward presentation. It's also crucial to steer clear of emotional manipulation. Leaders might try to sway public opinion by appealing to emotions, but that can be misleading and unproductive. The key trap here is gaining legitimacy. Leaders seek to legitimize their authority or goals by publicly aligning with religion. While this can be effective, it's important to understand the underlying intent and not be swayed by surface appearances. Throughout this, remember that the overall theme is about understanding manipulation tactics and being aware of how religion can be used as a tool for legitimacy in leadership. Today, I want to emphasize an important distinction. Religion is not the same as politics. While religion often guides our moral values and spiritual beliefs, politics is about managing societal affairs and governance. It's crucial to keep these two separate to maintain clarity and fairness. Next, I'd like to highlight the importance of using reason, or what we call akal in many traditions. Reason helps us think clearly and make wise decisions rather than acting impulsively or based on emotion alone. Following reason leads us toward justice and truth. These are the core principles that should guide our actions and choices. Justice ensures fairness and equality, while truth keeps us honest and authentic in our dealings. These golden principles serve as a foundation for ethical living and social harmony. By adhering to them, we foster a more just and truthful society, which ultimately supports the overall theme of living with integrity and compassion. Let's take a moment to consider some important questions. First, who really benefits from this information or situation? It's crucial to identify the actual beneficiaries to understand the true motivations behind it. Next, we should ask ourselves whether we're reacting out of fear or if there's some truth involved. Recognizing this helps us make more rational decisions. Then, we need to see if this aligns with our core values. Does it resonate with what we stand for? And finally, what evidence supports these claims? Are we looking at solid facts or just assumptions? All of these questions are part of what I call our mental filter. It's how we process information critically. By applying these filters, we can avoid being misled or making hasty judgments. It's about being intentional with our thinking, especially when faced with persuasive content. Remember, understanding who benefits and checking the evidence helps us stay grounded. And questioning whether it's based on fear or fact keeps us from reacting emotionally rather than rationally. So, keep these questions in mind as you evaluate information. They're essential tools to help you filter out noise and focus on what truly matters, aligning your decisions with your values and the facts. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize the importance of being aware, thinking critically, and staying balanced. These are really the key takeaways from everything we've discussed today. Being aware helps us recognize the nuances and complexities in any situation. Thinking critically allows us to evaluate information carefully and make informed decisions. And staying balanced ensures we don't get overwhelmed or biased, keeping our perspective clear. When we combine these skills, we're better equipped to navigate challenges effectively. Remember, these concepts are central to the overall theme of responsible and thoughtful engagement. So, I encourage you to keep these principles in mind as you move forward. Thank you for your attention.